Good Packer Nation morning, everybody. Well, we will jump on, folks. It's Wednesday. We're quickly rolling into another Packer matchup. And so I titled this video blog the first WTF moment of training camp. And as you get on, we'll do Packer Nation roll call. Let me know who you are and where you're at, and we'll give you a shout out as you jump on here this Wednesday morning. Grayson is here. Hey, good to see you, man. One of the regulars for sure. I hope you got coffee. I ran out, so I am having, once again, the Mick Cafe. This is mirrored, I'm sure, as you watch it. Hey there, Drew. How you doing, man? Jared is back. Thank you. Yes, I'm glad I got my coffee, too. The fall is starting to come, so if my voice is a little raspy, I'm starting to catch, once in a while, I get a little bit of an allergy or something. So if my voice is a little raspy, that is why. Good to see you, Tim. Good to see you, Jesse, Charles, and Andy. Andy says, wow, they finally cut Tim. Well, I'm going to talk about that. They didn't do it the right way, in my opinion, however. Joey is here. Jim is here. Matthew from Greensboro, North Carolina. Well, hello there, neighbor. Good to see you. Ricky says, good morning to Packer Nation. So from everybody. Sean from California. Angie from Colorado. I love that state. Beautiful. I just missed one. Deb, Victor, Trish, and Dan. Good to see all you guys. Tyson says hello from Iowa. Packer Nation is going strong all across the globe. And I don't know about you, but I am about to lay a rant on you this morning. And it's about this whole punter situation. And Trent is here. There he is. The man, the myth. Trent Thayer Jewelers, Mauston, Wisconsin, a great place to go. I say it because I know it. So, been there, done that. Paul says, good morning from Las Vegas. Okay, let's talk about this punter situation, right? I understand that Peter Mortel was not a proven commodity, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe his hang time wasn't quite what the Packers were looking for. So and we talked about this yesterday, when the Packers cut Mortel in favor of Mastay, I understand why they would do that, okay? I understand it because they're going with a known quantity, right? Ryan is here. Good to see you, Ryan and Charles. Going with a known quantity is okay by me. I'm okay with that. I didn't, Mastay had a tendency to fall apart from time to time. But here's the deal, guys. He held the record for gross and net in Packers history, folks. And if you'll recall, what I reminded you of yesterday was the crap storm that the Packers stirred up for years trying to find a punter that was even decent. And now we've got an unknown quantity so we went with Mastay. I was okay with a known quantity, even though I was in favor of Mortel. I thought he had a great ceiling. He had a great attitude. I thought he was going to be good. I thought he would be good. I hope he gets picked up. But then we kept Mastay, and guess what? Then all of a sudden, we go with Schum. Completely unknown, not a Packer. Didn't spend one snap out in the preseason games. And for the last preseason game, this guy's going to go out one time and then go in and be the punter. Presumably, they could cut him. In fact, I think that they probably will end up having to do that. I hope they cut him and bring Mastay back under a little cheaper contract or something. Cut a deal with Mastay, get somebody in. And here's why, all right? Not a lot of people are going to have a big problem maybe with the punter. I think the special teams are important, okay? I think they're extremely important. I think field position is one of the most underrated statistics in NFL football. But the punting duel, the punter doesn't tend to get a lot of press, right? All right, well, here's the deal, okay? And here's why. So let's just do a poll here. Everybody, just take a minute. I'm going to have a sip of coffee, whatever, while you guys put down there every name of every game-changing punter in the National Football League. Right now, just type them up there. Every game-changing punter that you know of in the National Football League. All right? Rick is telling me to calm down. No, it's going to get worse, and I'll tell you why, because I haven't gotten to the reason yet. The reason is extremely important to the Packers' success, all right? Game-changing punters, they're not exactly a dime a dozen. I think field position is important. I think we could have gone with either Peter Mortel or Tim Mastey. Let me tell you a special teamer who is a game changer. His name is Mason Crosby. Guess who's going to be holding the kicks for Mason Crosby? All the field goals, all the extra points, the punter. Now, of course, the Packers could go with somebody else to hold, but guess what? I'll tell you who it's not going to be. It's not going to be Tim Mastey or Peter Mortel, who have had plenty of reps with our all-important Mason Crosby, the kicker who could very well trot out on the field to either win or lose a game, just like we did with Detroit last year. The holder for the kicker is extremely important in this league. This was a bonehead move, and I'm telling you why right now. I'm sure this kid you can bring any punter that can kick that's in the league. You can swap them out interchangeably across the league. What are you getting the difference? Number one, this guy doesn't have a better net or gross, from what I understand, than Mastey. But I'm not concerned about that. What you're giving out with him, Mortel, Schum, it's 3 to 4 yards difference. The kick coverage units and your hang time has more to do with that. All right? We're talking about the Packers cut Tim Mastey, Samantha, and brought in Jacob Schum from the Bucs. So here's the deal, guys. You can swap out punters. We generally speaking will be fine. This hasn't been always the case for the Packers, however, because think again about what happened before Tim Mastey. We cut John Ryan. And if you guys remember how well Derek Frost did as a punter, so this isn't always the case. But when you swap out the person who holds for the kicker, now you have a problem very easily. Now, Mason Crosby kicking 2 54-yard field goals. It becomes a game of not just inches but millimeters at that point. And that hold is crucial to putting those points on the board, not just field goals, but also extra points. We've already had one extra point ding off the uprights, right? Other than that, Mason Crosby has been money like Mason Crosby B. But you watch when we start struggling to kick field goals, or what's going to happen is the struggle will not be with the kicker. The struggle will be we get this kid to go out on the field, and he's going to be nervous the one time he has to hold when it matters, and he is going to have one preseason game, and then, however many games until he has to do this, as opposed to having either Mortel or Mastey. I don't care which one. They both showed that they could hold, and they both did it. Hey, Ned, they both held for Mason Crosby for 3 preseason games. This is a bonehead move, and that's why. And you watch. We'll regret it. We'll regret it because of that. But we have to move on, I guess. There's nothing we can do about it at this point. Ned is back on. No, Rick, he won't be fine. He's going to blow it for us. Watch Mason Crosby, and when the game is on the line, this is a problem. You don't swap out. We've done this before. We've experimented with this exact same scenario before. We kicked John Ryan off the team. Guess where John Ryan is? Punting for Seattle, just like he has been ever since we kicked him off the team. We brought in Derek Frost. It was a debacle. Not only could he not kick, but remember the struggles Mason Crosby had? He had 1 year of problems. Then we finally get Mastey in, who again, and some people aren't happy with Mastey either. I could have taken either one. I'd have been very happy to have Peter Mortel. I think he would have developed. He had some development to do. I actually think his delivery was too slow as well. But these are things that a kid can work on. But this kid's going to cause us a problem down the road. I'll be the first one to get on when that thing dings off the upright, because we know Mason Crosby is money from 54 with the right holder in place. And when it dings, folks, it may or may not be with the game on the line. But I've said for years now that Mason Crosby is going to trot out there one of these days, and it's going to be extremely important. Tim's making a good point. Don't need a punter if they convert. Let's go 2-point conversions all year long. Yeah, we'll convert our freaking first downs like we did a couple years ago, maybe we'll just score from like 30 plus all the time with Jordy Nelson back. And then let's just stay away from the kicking. Mark my words, there's going to be a point in this season where we're like, oh man, this was a screw up. However, here's the thing, and it's not like we're saving, tons of cap space by not keeping not keeping a mass day on the roster. I mean, my goodness, a pretty modest salary, but we are saving some money, I guess. So maybe he's planning to. We've got people we need to sign, but I don't know that you kick a punter off your team to save cap space at this point. It's just really not the highest paid guy. All right, but my rant is over. But this was a bonehead move. I have faith in my team, Kenya. That doesn't mean that I don't call it when it's a bonehead move. This is a bonehead move. And it will prove itself to be a bonehead move. Or, it's a punter, so we will maybe just be adequate. That's fine. I didn't think really Mass Day or Mortel were going to improve us by by leaps and bounds. So it's going to be, our kick coverage units. And I know that part of the reason for this move is because, this is understandable. The Packers coaching staff was not happy with the kick placement from either punter. And I think with Mortel, it had as much to do with hang time as well. You've got to allow your coverage to run under these things. And I think that they saw just a little bit, and you're talking half seconds here at this point. But we will see how it goes, but there's more to talk about. I just want to stop actually and talk about something that doesn't have to do with the Packers, but it has to do with football in general, okay? So don't tune me out because I think we're all probably thinking about to some extent and have heard about, and our hearts maybe go out to Teddy Bridgewater right now, right? If you got a little love in your heart, even though he's a Viking, I understand all of that. But if you got a little love in your heart, Teddy Bridgewater went down with a torn ACL and dislocated knee. Phil is just joining. We are just stopping for a moment to throw up a heart or a little sad face for Teddy Bridgewater and all Minnesota Viking fans. Packers fans, we understand what it's like to go through a long period of time without our quarterback. And all Teddy Bridgewater did since he went to the Vikings was just play the game and do the best he can. He was not one of these guys. I mean, he was a competitor. So he was a competitor. Heart does not go out. Okay, that's fine. Teddy Bridgewater was a competitor. You didn't see him trash talking out there. He just tried to improve every year. Of course, the Minnesota Vikings are a team that, they're going to rely on Adrian Peterson, but this was the year they brought in some weapons. I think they were hoping to rely more on Bridgewater's arm, get him developed. I've said, this for this whole past offseason, that if Teddy Bridgewater takes the next step, the Vikings are going to be a real tough team to beat because their defense looks like everything it's cracked up to be. I've watched them. They are going to be good, folks. But let me explain one thing to you, and this is why my heart goes out, because I talked about this a long time ago. We talked about the difference between an ACL and a devastating knee injury. Some ACLs are devastating knee injuries. Some ACLs are not devastating knee injuries. They're all difficult ones. They're all serious injuries. But when you dislocate your knee, it's a different story altogether. And you want to know how I know? Because that's what kicked me out of football. I know exactly how it feels. When you feel those two bones come apart, and they don't go back together, and then you have to pop them back in place, man, it could be a devastating. And of course, we'll see more come out as to what the actual nature of it is. If he doesn't have nerve damage, but one thing I will tell you, he most likely has torn, a lot of torn meniscus in there. He may have other, MCL. He may have other ligaments that are damaged. So Belinda is here. We're just stopping for a moment to talk about Teddy Bridgewater, and my hearts go out to all Minnesota Viking fans because I am one of those. I don't know who else. Heart me if you are one of those who takes no joy in defeating a team who isn't at full strength. I hate it. I know it happens. It happens all the time in the NFL. But I take no joy in it. Not whatsoever. And when we play the Minnesota Vikings, and I know Vikings fans are going to feel this way, again, we still have to play the game. Vikings defense is a good defense. They still have Adrian Peterson. Tim, career ender with a question mark. I don't think so, but it is a possibility at this point. Again, we don't know enough, but what we do know is it not just did he tear his ACL, but the knee was dislocated, which what that means is that joint traveled an awful long way, which means it probably tore other things when it dislocated. So, and so when we play the Vikings, week 2, they're getting ready to open up US Bank Stadium. They played the Chargers this week. Phil was there on the sidelines. Good to see you, Phil. All that excitement is going to have. There's going to be a little bit of a sore spot as well. So Ned says that the Vikings rubbed our nose when Rodgers went down. Well, I'm not going to reciprocate that. Partly because I know exactly how that injury feels, and it's awful. It's awful. So when we win, hey, guess what? A win's a win. And football's football. Injuries come along. But for Teddy Bridgewater, a young player, really has made himself a good career. We know with Aaron Rodgers going down for a while with the collarbone and Jordy Nelson, of course, being gone for a whole year, that it does affect your season. So I just wanted to stop and mention that, and I'm not going to dwell on it too long because it is Vikings news, but it's NFC North news as well, so it really does affect us in the NFC North, and we'll see how that shakes out. Because, we still got games to play, folks, and of course nobody's going to be taking any points off the board. This is part of how the game is played. And they get paid good money. However, for a guy like Teddy that was looking to have a good season, and I really like to see, always want my Packers to win. I always hate it when they lose. But I do like to see these good games. And for a while, the NFC North was almost like it was almost like shooting fish in a barrel for the Green Bay Packers for a while there. Vikings have had a bit of a resurgence. And, of course, won the division last year. So we're going to take that back, but it will be when we play the Vikings, it will be without Teddy Bridgewater. So best to Teddy as he recovers and back to Packer football. How about our own injury situation? John Crockett in particular, getting put on IR, the question being whether he ends up with an injury settlement or if we can, if he's one that we designate to return. I thought Crockett, I know there are others, there are some out there that disagree with me that I would take Crockett over Burks. I thought Burks had a fantastic preseason. I think he had a fantastic preseason, against less opponents than, Crockett got out there and played against. I thought Crockett looked really live. I thought his feet looked fast. He looked decisive, and I loved the energy that he brought. So we will see what happened. Josh is saying ACL, MCL, LCL, and meniscus all gone, out for 2 years probably. I don't know where did you pick that up? I didn't catch all of that, but that's basically every ligament in his knee. And from what we understood, they basically brought the ambulance to get him out of there. And so it's definitely, it's going to be that's a devastating knee injury. So we will see. So anyway, the Packers roster is starting to get shaken up. We're coming down to the final 53. We got her down to 75. We've got a big preseason game to play. Jump on and let me know who you're excited to watch on this final preseason game, because it's really, generally speaking, it's like the most boring preseason game. No starters, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. However, Julius Peppers has been he's been practicing a ton in practice and has really, looks like he's primed for a good year. I am looking, we've got Maurice is looking for Callahan and Martinez, two guys that, Callahan, of course, really excited about him, hope he never plays a snap during the regular season, except like maybe victory formation or something like that, or when we're up by, 50, we're dropping a 50 burger on somebody and he gets in, or Hundley gets in. But Martinez is going to looks like he's going to have a part to play in this season and its success. And I'm looking forward to seeing that guy continue to mature. He has done well with the communication, I think, and has had some really nice tackles. And Linda says, Callahan, wow. And this guy Callahan is apparently the fan favorite right now, because a lot of people are mentioning him. Hundley, we are not sure whether he's going to play or not. I hope he gets a chance to, because Hundley's the guy I was looking forward to more than anybody else. Now Callahan has come on so strong. I think he's just become so exciting to watch. So it's been crazy. It's been a crazy off season. But to me, it's been our preseason. It's been much more interesting. Lynn is mentioning Ringo. Yes, I want to see Christian Ringo get out there as well. He has shown that he's got some pass rush ability, and we're going to need these guys with Pennell. We're presuming Pennell is going to, obviously make the roster, where he's going to be out for 4 games. Guys like Ringo, we're going to have to swap back in. That's going to be important. That defensive line is the one area really where we're kind of thin. Even the linebacker and inside linebacker position has really kind of shown itself to have some depth, because we've had Thomas come in and Barrington coming back. Bradford has shown a lot of flash this preseason, so we feel like now that we have some depth at inside linebacker, and Ryan still has a chance to come back as well. So we're going to see what happens. Last preseason game, it's not going to be super exciting from a football game standpoint, but it's going to be a super exciting game for a lot of young players that want to make this 53-man roster or 63-man roster. Some of them would be very happy to get on the practice squad. I am looking for Kentrell Bryce. I think he's had a fantastic. He is the I think he is. I don't remember what his stat is, but he is the team leader, I believe, in tackles right now, and I believe he is in the top 10 in the preseason all around right now, which means we've got a kid out there that's active and he's making some sticks. So I'm going to be watching for Bryce. Dylan is watching for Goodson. Wide receiver position, definitely going to be interested. And Anthony says it's bubble time. Yeah, this is super interesting. So we will see what happens, folks. I'm going to let you go for now. Thank you so much for participating in this video blog. If you're watching this on YouTube, I definitely appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. It helps out a lot. And folks, we're going to talk more about the Packers tomorrow and get our predictions in. So I will talk to you tomorrow about the same time and about the same place. Hopefully I'll have made my own coffee. I don't like buying coffee from other people, but see you, Kyle. You guys head out. Talk to you later. Joyce and Waylon says, go Pack, go. And that's what I'll say too, folks. Have a good day and go Pack, go.